the beautiful sounds of an American pianist, Mr. Errol Garner, everybody. Nick, joining me.
How's it going, y'all? Just chilling, talking about some good tunes.
Yeah, good tunes, American culture,
Absolutely.
of which there is a infinite amount to talk about. And but choosing the right one for a hour and a half segment is really difficult. I would say actually we should start with
Yeah.
public access itself.
Does not get better than public access TV.
Does not.
I mean, it's, I think the idea of public access, of anyone being able to control their own TV show and just all funded by taxpayer and just, that's awesome, right? And I think it's had some really great moments, like Wayne's World,
Oh yeah.
but it's also had some really horrible moments, which,
Such as
it's like...
public access foibles or mistakes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Of which there are many. But there are also miracles too. How about we highlight the miracles? One of my favorite public access moments was in Milwaukee, or as they say in Wayne's World, Milwaukee. That's what Alice Cooper calls it, right?
Yeah.
And there was a band there called De Cruisin' or
Okay.
De Croisen.
Okay.
And you can find a public access clip of them on YouTube where they have a really kind of, awkward interview
Yeah.
session, I think a half hour or so before they actually take a stage. And then they just bang out like 7 songs in
That's awesome.
8 minutes.
Nice.
And it's wonderful. And they put out this De Croisen after this public access stint,
Okay.
or maybe around the same time. They had this little 7-inch record. I actually have it with me.
Oh yeah, you should pull it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called, I didn't even plan that. It's called Cows and Beer.
Right.
And I think it's right around
Oh,
here.
I think I saw that. Yeah, Cows and Beer. Yeah.
Here it is. I don't know if we can get a zoom on that or not. But anyways, an interesting thing is I found out that the label that put out this EP, you know where they were from?
Where?
Xenia, Ohio.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on the name, I would have said Germany, but
Oh, yeah. But I looked it up, and I found an article that I don't think a lot of people have seen, and that's that these 2 kids in Xenia, Ohio, got this label together called Version, and I got the news clippings here. I got this from the Xenia Library Microfiche, which isn't really a microfiche anymore. It's a have you used a microfiche before?
I have I'm completely lost.
Okay, a microfiche is like it's like film images of newspapers that you would
Okay.
go and like look at a reel, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
you'd be able to
okay.
find things in an archive. But nowadays they just have the scans
Right.
of old newspapers out
Right.
on the internet and in the world.
Right,
so
right.
so you don't really need it as much. But I went to the Xenia Library anyway because I wanted to feel like I was on a microfiche, and I found the news story about Version Sound, little record label in Xenia that put out like a handful of cassettes and this EP, which is a seminal Midwest hardcore EP.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You want to give it a spin?
I think we oughta.
Have to.
I think we should.
If its name gets mentioned, you gotta give it a spin.
Let's take Earl off here. We'll play it again some other time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
You brought a lot of good tunes. I haven't even heard half the stuff. Most of the stuff you brought, so. Would you say you're familiar with all the stuff that you brought, or?
yes,
Wow,
yeah.
that's a lot of music.
I spent a lot of time just absorbing all this stuff.
Great.
Yeah, including like this.
Yeah.
But they're out of like Milwaukee. They got a little cow on there. Little cross.
Solid.
Yeah. We'll do a vibe check later. Play like Dean Martin or something. The public access video of them though is it's really special. They go through every song on this EP. I think it's like 6 of them.
Okay.
And like this breakdown right here, it's really special.
These guys would sound like they'd be fun to hear live.
Yeah. That's a good one to end on, I think.
Yeah.
But one and done. But yeah, anyway, they had an excellent public access video that probably, who knows how many people saw that video initially, but since the advent of YouTube,
Right.
It has,
Yeah, that's
probably
awesome.
nearing 1 million views or something like that.
Hey, yeah, if you like getting your band on like public access, that would be the way to go. Not to get out to other people, like in your community. I mean, that would work, but to put out on YouTube and be like, here is our, wacky band on public access. You know what I mean?
I like a sort of, I don't want to say no frills, but some frills approach.
Okay.
Where you don't have you didn't really break the buck to come in and produce something that you can be
Right.
proud of.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of what you can get in public access.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
This is a pretty decent recording that we got in a pretty nice studio,
Oh yeah.
and you have it at your
Disposal. Yeah.
disposal for free.
I mean, all this stuff in here, it's a lot of money, right? And to enable people, not just enable like people who are able to pay for it, but anyone who pays taxes to come in here and to have their own show or to that's awesome to me, especially as someone who wants to go into the industry. I know how expensive and how hard all this stuff can be to actually organize. So to have like a nice leg to stand on, that really means a lot. You know what I mean? It's nice.
Another reason, and I think you already highlighted that, is that money can burn a hole in your pocket.
Is this one?
Yeah, unfortunately there's no picture sleeve or anything, but
It's nice.
with money. If only we had oil wells in Texas to keep us supplied with money
Oh yeah.
all the time. Instead, it's only like 5 guys, and I don't know them.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just a damn shame. We could say damn, right?
How old is this?
Geez, this must have been like, I actually don't know the exact date on this, but if I had to guess,
mean,
it's
it sounds
probably like late 50s.
Yeah,
early
60s, 50s, yeah.
But I read a really great book about the life of Dean Martin,
Okay.
and if you're not familiar, he got his start, as a singer.
Okay.
And Sinatra was just like, he was doing fine.
Right.
But Dean, he had more trouble playing it serious.
Interesting.
So he eventually had his act with Jerry Lewis, the
Okay.
comedian. And
Really?
they became a comedic duo where,
With Jerry Lewis?
yeah.
Interesting.
And, Jerry Lewis was the goofy guy.
Right.
And Dino was the straight man.
Interesting.
And, so he'd sing, but he'd joke a lot of the time. And,
Right.
and then he had this goofball
Right.
always on his case during his show.
It's pretty cool.
So, unlike Sinatra, who probably couldn't take a joke and
Right.
probably punch out a guy
Yeah.
trying to do that.
Yeah, I've heard he's not the nicest person.
Yeah. But Dino, he came off as a
That's cool.
fairly decent dude.
Yeah, I should listen to more music like this. I do enjoy it, and it's like, I don't know, it's definitely, you could draw a lot of cool inspiration to writing your own music from it, right? Just like, I guess composition-wise and sound-wise, I like the violins and how the strings play into the whole pieces,
Yeah, it's
the mix.
oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like there's a want to go back to just plain songwriting. Like we've experienced every sort of like sonic thing that we can, right?
You think so?
I mean, maybe not every single sonic thing, but we've covered a lot of territory.
Oh, yeah.
And so as far as like the band format or
Oh, I mean, I think like, you know, everyone thought like, oh, music can't go anywhere, you know, when classical was the genre, right? And then, you know, this is very rough, but
oh
like
man,
jazz, right? We've already heard everything, and then jazz was invented, and then rock and roll was invented from that, and they said, oh, we've already heard everything, and then, you know,
yeah.
R&B, and then
I guess
just
I'm
keeps
kind of the
going.
crank in this scenario.
yeah.
But,
I mean, who knows? Eventually, it'll just be like screeching noises. Well, we're already there. Never mind.
Yeah, we've already
Like,
done it. But I'm saying it's like, I mean, maybe there will be evolutions in squeaky sound, but singer-songwriter stuff, like, I don't know. I think that's always going to be something to go back to. You know, I don't want to get stuck on it, but I had a Julie London tune that would be really nice to hear.
Okay.
But they can edit all this out anyway. Half of it.
I guess, yeah.
Just as soon as because you were immaculate. You did everything right, but then I had like 25 extra seconds of searching. But, I mean, this tune in itself it's just really something special, and I think it's just really just guitar and vocal, and I'll turn it way up, crank it.
I don't know if it's just the recording technology at the time, but kind of how like, or maybe it's even the vinyl, but kind of how the guitar sounds wobbly, right? And when she sings, it's there's a little like push and pull in the
wavers.
pitch. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that really adds a lot to the music. I'd much rather listen to it this version than I would like a clean version. You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, we could see the needle wavering right along with her voice and guitar.
Yeah. And to replicate that sound digitally is really hard to do. At least I think it is.
It's a bit more inflexible.
Yeah. It's a good song. I think it's the first song that you played tonight that I've like known. You know.
Oh, you've heard this one?
Yeah, I've heard this. Yeah. Cry Me a River's. I covered this in high school jazz band.
Really?
Yeah. We had a choir student who was into singing like this. She wanted to cover it, and so they came to the jazz band and were like, "You guys should learn how to play this. We could do like this whole thing." That was really fun.
So you had it like all written down?
Yeah, I mean, it was like the version we played was more like written for like a big band kind of, and it was kind of cool sounding. I definitely prefer like simplistic on this song.
Yeah, this is like spare.
Yeah.
About as spare as it gets, you know. But they do a lot with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's great that they were able to actually cover that.
Yeah, I mean it sounded completely different, but you know the song, right? It was the same song, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll play the flip-flop of it too.
You should, yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's marvelous.
Okay.
Which I first heard the Dean Martin version.
Okay.
And then when I got this, I was like, oh man, Cry Me a River, 99 cents. Perfect. And then on the flip side, and then they add this echo effect at the end.
Oh.
Very subtle.
Yeah, I hear it, yeah.
Man. On Liberty Records.
It's kind of goofy.
It's marvelous. You should care for me.
Do you know like jazz guitarist Wes Montgomery?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have Day in a Life?
I didn't bring any, but there's a rumor.
Good stuff. Uh-huh.
Well, it's not even a rumor. It's probably a fact that he did
Uh-huh.
a show with John Coltrane,
Really?
but there isn't a known recording of it.
Really?
But people are like wishing there was. So
Right.
people are wanting to like wish it into existence.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
You know?
That would be something to hear.
Yeah. And I love Wes Montgomery.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, like, I've really only listened to Day in the Life, which I need. It's a shame because he's incredible.
That's the Beatles cover on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he has this one with Work Song by Nat Adderley.
Okay, yeah.
He's on that one.
Yeah, it's Cannonball, right? Cannonball Adderley, yep.
Yeah, Cannonball Adderley with Wes Montgomery.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, don't get much better.
Right, right.
I had a good friend give me that record, and
Okay, nice.
and that one grew on me a lot. But yeah, any Wes Montgomery album I find in the wild, I just
Yeah.
snatch it up.
I need to get Day in the Life on vinyl. That one, just like just playing my own guitar. I just love to like, every once in a while I'll pull it up and I'll just try to play along to it. And if I really want to, I'll learn tabs.
Mhm.
But I mean, all the melodies are just super simple, right? And just, I mean, I haven't really gone that far into it, but it's fun to play. It's good stuff.
Kind of going on a random, actually, less random. I think I got this one by request.
Also, what's this album that you brought with the Best Buy?
Oh yeah, we can just play that and talk about something else.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is a James Ferrero.
Okay.
He was really big around 2010.
Okay.
Really
I guess
big
the
around.
Best Buy cover is screaming that to me.
Yeah, I mean it's special, isn't it? You should look at the flip side too. It's show it to the camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this one is like,
Oh, there's even the Football Man on here too.
yeah, you know the Fox
Yeah,
Sports
yeah,
robot
yeah.
guy?
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-da.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. Da, 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 da.
They take football way too seriously. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Western
This
theme,
is-
like Bonanza.
Like and the Judge Judy, I didn't even realize, this is a relic of
Oh.
the 2010s.
Look inside. There's a paper sleeve in there. It's not that one, but the other one. Yeah, it's something special. And maybe you can read an excerpt for us.
Okay. Title: Last American Hero. F-150 as energy drink worship temple. F-150 night arrows at the highway's end. On a lost highway underneath the desert skies, where the roar of her voice is heard, the energy-enhanced gladiator wishes to merge as one with his girl. The tongue ring glows underneath the Reno moon. Her silver silence begs for his pleasure. Is this PG?
I think it should be.
Okay, yeah.
13.
I
if
mean,
anything.
I don't really, I'm not reading this as a story, and I'm just reading this as a collection of words from, 2011,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, where do you see like F-150 Monster Energy drink worship temple? When you see
Right.
that, it's just like that's they're tapping into something there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, how do you even come? Costco Nomads. That'd be a cool band name.
Costco Nomads.
Yeah, wait, what's this? Is this
Oh, it
Last
purposely.
American Hero? James Ferrero, Last American Hero.
Yeah,
Ah, I gotta look into this.
I mean, musically, it
Yeah.
sounds like a third-rate action movie, like trucks going through a desert,
Right.
going to some destination.
I can see that.
Like it's meant to be a soundtrack and it's not. It's
Okay.
kind of like a precursor to that whole vaporwave thing.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it
And,
kind of
uh,
sounds like lo-fi? Yeah, I don't know. Is this just one long track too?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Is
Yeah.
it like that on both sides?
No, I think there's two separate tracks. So this one would be considered the F-150 track,
Okay.
and then there's two more, the Blacktop Tumbleweed.
Is it like a concept album kind of like?
Very loosely.
That's
I
cool.
mean, I think just having the words just sort of like might be fun to have with the listening experience,
Right.
you know. But the first time I heard this, it was just via YouTube.
This is cool. Yeah.
And I thought, based on its strength alone, you know, it's like I just enjoyed it.
Did you ever? Speaking of vapor, did you ever get into vaporwave?
Not incredibly, because at first I thought, oh, there's James Ferrero, and I got to see him at one point in Seattle, and I thought that was fun. And then there's that other guy, OPN, One of Tricks Point Never. Daniel Lopatin, I believe, is his name, and he's like a Tangerine Dream synthesizer guy.
Okay, yeah. That's cool.
But as far as like the internet, like YouTube,
Yeah.
vaporwave stuff, it was always secondary to like bands, you know.
See that.
And
I mean, it strikes a really niche, or I guess at the time it struck a really niche genre. I really wish I was a part of the scene when it like got big.
yeah.
So I think it would have been something cool to be a part of.
My favorite video that I've seen in the whole like vaporwave thing was it was Toto's Africa played to an empty mall,
Okay.
and it was just the sound of it
That's
coming over like an intercom.
Really, it's a really weird like. I don't know how to describe. It's like it's less of you're listening to the music and more of you're evoking a feeling. I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, cause yeah, I don't know. I mean, but like, as vaporwave songs or like albums, you ever heard of like Luxury Elite?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a really good album.
That has like the bust on it,
Yeah,
and or Macintosh.
Macintosh Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, Macintosh Plus. That's
With
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and that one was just kind of memed out of existence. It's another. It's also kind of got like this weird influence of like Japanese city pop too.
Right.
Um,
There was one city pop record that was sampled for one of those that used to go for like pennies, and now
it's expensive.
it's like,
yeah.
you know, I got $500,
Right,
Because that's
right.
how much it's going to cost now, all because of sampling.
Right.
You know,
It's cool, isn't it?
so it does help out those lonely record store owners
Yeah,
a bit.
definitely. I bet. I mean, imagine being a record store owner and just having like, I don't know, a couple copies of just some Japanese city pop record that went nowhere.
Mhm.
And then one day, all of a sudden, you're sitting on a couple $1,000s worth of vinyl,
Hey, it's nice when it's
crazy,
when your
huh?
ship comes in.
right? Right?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This Japanese city pop's cool. Can never remember the names. I remember there's this album. It's called Haircuts for Men.
Yeah.
Or it might be the album, or it's the artist name. That's a pretty cool album. There's one Japanese dude. He's got a cover of him, and he's like skydiving. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
That it's like that, and then he another album. It's Kenichiro Island, I think. It's harder for me to remember the Japanese names.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's just this crazy dude. There's this live video of him playing, and he brings out this guitar, and it's like a big red surfboard. It's like bigger than he is, and you know he's this tiny dude. He's just like ripping on it. It's pretty funny. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, vaporwave stuff was very interesting for a while, and I think one of the only music trends that I think I was like following, like as it was happening.
Oh,
know.
you were following vaporwave as it was happening?
Sure.
That's pretty cool.
And you know, it's like people I knew were following it too. And,
Interesting.
You know, it's just kind of that thing that's because I'm not really a big like meme person either,
Right.
In particular, but there are some folks where they'd like to follow it as
Right.
its historical arc or its use. And
Right. I mean, it's interesting, like how. I mean, that really is one of the first like landmarks of culture, of the internet. You know what I mean? Like, especially of, like, internet music and like what that really sounds like.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's that was like as the internet did open up, and people started sharing ideas with each other. Right.
Mhm.
That is definitely like vaporwave is the birth of that. You know what I mean? It's just like kind of what vaporwave represents as in context of the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is. You're taking like just the moment, and also it's nostalgia based too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very much like 90s and early 2000s
Right. Very
nostalgia
niche,
based
too.
music. And you don't even need vocals to really bring it out. It's just things you might have heard when you were a kid
Right.
that you might remember and have dreams.
You ever seen those like liminal space videos?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
I like
kind of like that.
I think I follow like on Twitter is like a liminal space, just like photos.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes I go into university and it seems like that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You know, my mom, she's a psychologist and she's got an office. And I used to clean it, right? And that is definition liminal. You know, the walls are that kind of like ugly yellow. The lights are flickering, fluorescent, you know. There's paintings on the wall that just are from forever ago. I even got into this room. It was like an old server room, and it had like an old Macintosh with a yellowing keyboard.
Yeah.
And you click the keys, and it just makes the most satisfying clicking sound. You know, that kind of. And just, I don't know. It smells musty, and just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a really weird feeling, and I don't know. I think that's what like the vaporwave and like liminal space. That's the feeling it's going after.
I feel like people saying that they're in a living meme now is
Yeah.
almost like saying I'm in a living cliche.
Right.
Like a half century ago.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and it's true. But yeah, like these liminal spaces are really interesting to look at, and
yeah.
like old studies and where old professors used to be. Like the building where I work at
Yeah.
is full of spaces like that.
Yeah.
That have just been underused and underloved, and and there have been computers there that have been forgotten to time.
Right. Who knows what's on there, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I found some. I found old disposable cameras,
okay, yeah.
and I got the film done. I think it was like pictures from 2002,
Oh
around
wow.
a graduation.
That's when I was born.
Really?
Yeah. 2002. I hope that made you feel old.
No, it's all good. It's nostalgia, and you don't really need too much knowledge for it. You just know it. You
Right.
just know that it's nostalgia based.
I mean, you know, and that's saying, I'm sure you grew up in like the 90s,
yeah,
right?
good portion. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in 2000s, right? You know, so it's interesting how I have a lot of like the same nostalgia that you do, because like the internet was a thing when I was growing up, right? But it was still it wasn't how it is now, you know. And so I didn't grow up with a phone to my face, right? So I don't know. I feel like that has something to do with us sharing nostalgia, right?
Did you grow up in a city or a suburbia?
Suburbs, yeah.
Suburbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like for me it was like Mechanicsburg, Jamestown, very rural,
Yeah,
sort of
okay, yeah.
environments. I had a go-kart.
Okay, yeah.
Here's
That's cool.
Here's the nostalgia music. I had a go-kart. I could go through the cornfields in it when the corn was cut down. And just sort of go anywhere that I please.
Yeah.
And there were no phones,
Right.
just landlines,
Right.
which we don't even consider phones. It's like,
Right.
what's that?
Right. I mean, who has a landline anymore?
Yeah, unless you, in a business somewhere,
Right.
University.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I grew up with like a little bit of technology here and there. Like, I would get on the internet to play some Flash games, right?
Right. Flash
And-
was huge.
Yep. It's dead now. Rest in peace, Flash.
Man, that
but-
was like Newgrounds for me.
Yeah.
Did you have Newgrounds growing up?
A little bit.
A little bit of Newgrounds?
I was more on Miniclip and YouTube, if you know that.
Yeah.
So, but like all those like animations and stuff that you would see on Newgrounds, I was seeing the follow-ups on YouTube.
How
So-
we feeling?
Trying to give you the silent signal.
Oh, we're wrapping it up? This has been Mindless Idiots, and that was James Ferrero. Nick, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Take it back to the studio land. Back to you in studio land.